Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar brought to you by SMS. In today's webinar, we're going to take a look further into why Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central beats the likes of Sage and Xero. Before I hand you over to today's presenter, Colin Smith, I want to tell you a little bit more about us. But first, actually, if you are watching us live and want to get involved, just drop any questions you may have in the Q&A box, and we'll make sure to answer them towards the end of today's webinar. So a little bit more about us. SMS is a Microsoft Work Solutions partner that specializes in providing managed services for mid-market clients and SME. SMS has been established for over 15 years with a portfolio of over 4,500 clients. SMS are ISO 9001 and 27001 certified, and we provide 24/7 support with all of our staff being based here in the UK. We are ideally placed to offer IT advice for your business and help you get the most out of products like Azure, Microsoft 365, and Modern Workplace. So that's a little more information about us. I'll now hand you over to today's presenter, Colin Smith.
Oh, thank you very much, Joshua, and good afternoon, everyone that's joining us on the webinar. I'd like to sort of have a quick chat about MS Dynamics because it's probably one of the most confusing of the Microsoft products, really. There's essentially two MS Dynamics systems that both, interact together, but essentially have two different roles within an organization. And the first one's Dynamics 365 CRM, and that's customer relationship management system. And the way I like to look at it is outward facing. This is what you use to communicate with your customers, whether it be sales, service, support, or whatever. Then Dynamics 365 Business Central, which is what we're going to be talking about today, is an enterprise resourcing planning system. And I'd call this inward looking in a way. This is what happens within your organization. If you were to take your organization and put it into a factory or into a box or something, Dynamics Business Central makes sure whatever goes on in that box goes on the right way. And so today we're going to focus on Dynamics Business Central, and we'll cover Dynamics 365 CRM in a later presentation. So quick slide on what it is not, just for those of you that may have felt misled into signing up. It's not Office 365. It's not 365 Business or Microsoft 365 Enterprise. It's not the previous versions of Dynamics, which are GP, AX, NAV, and SL. And it's not the much larger enterprise editions of Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations, Business Edition, and Enterprise Edition. We've got various webinars available on the SMS channel if you want to have a look at some of the products above, though obviously the legacy products like GPAX, NAVL, and SL we don't cover. But really moving on, I suppose let's try and define what an ERP is. This has been lifted from Larry Ellison at Oracle, a famous entrepreneur, a tech entrepreneur. And I think he sums it up quite well by, he says, enterprise resource planning, or ERP, refers to a type of software that organizations use to manage day-to-day business activities, such as accounting, procurement, project management, risk management and compliance, and supply chain operations. And I think that's probably the best definition that I could find when I was researching stuff for this presentation today. And so if we take a visual view of what Dynamics Business does out of the box, we're looking at financial management, sales and purchase order processing, inventory, which is taking care of your stock, supply chain management, so where everything's going and how it's coming in. Jobs and project management of the type of business that earns your money from actually doing projects and jobs. Service order management, and human resources. We'll also discuss some of the different licenses available later on in the webinar, but if you're saying, well, hold on, there's nothing on assembly and manufacturing, yes, those can be added as options as well. So quick look at Business Central features that we think make it stand out. It's fully cloud-based, so no back office hardware, no worrying about a piece of tin. There's no setup as such. Basically, there probably will be some customization, but you don't have to wait forever to get everything together. You can access it anywhere, so you can access it via phone, your iPhone, via laptops, via mobile devices, and just desktops and stuff. Because it's cloud-based, minimum administration, so things like upgrades and patches and stuff like that are all taken care of within the cloud. You don't have to worry about downtime while you're doing that. And it's managed by Microsoft on Azure, which is probably the premier cloud-based platform operating in the world. And so as a result of that, you get very good performance. You get backups. You've obviously got Azure AD, Active Directory, so it integrates in with the rest of your 365 estate. And you've got MFA, multi-factor authentication, i.e. using your phone or a device to log in, so the security is very good. In addition, it can be put in data centers all over the world, and if you need it, because you've got data that is necessary under legislature or whatever to be kept in the UK and Europe, that can be arranged. It's continuously updated, so it has major new features twice a year, spring and autumn, and minor fixes are updated every month. And the beauty, obviously, is the cloud system is that you don't have downtime while those updates are going on. In addition to that, we think, as of all the sort of ERP packages out there, it's got some of the best Office integration. So it hooks into Outlook extremely well. So you can actually do, using the hook in Outlook, you can actually do a lot of the day-to-day operations without even having to go into Business Central. It exports any page to Excel. In return, you can also re-import data. So that means you can take stuff out if you've got large mass editing to do on some of the files and put them into Excel, which everyone knows it's much easier to edit in Excel, and then re-import them back into Business Central. You can export any page to Word. Again, you can create document layouts in Word, which is much easier than using inbuilt editors on these systems, and then re-import them in. And then we'll have a quick look later on, but it's got Power BI is embedded within Business Central. And so that means that you get very good graphics on how your business is performing. And then finally, Power Automate, which is something that is really just starting to become popular within the Microsoft estate, but will become more and more important in the future. And that's essentially a way of automating your workflows. So it's a way of putting approvals, automated emails, moving documents around, creating reports on an automated basis, and it saves a lot of basic manual tasks of some to and froing, saying, did you get this? Did you get that? Can you look at this? Can you look at that? But once you've done your task, you can move it on to the next person that needs to deal with the task, and hence it goes through automatically. You may say that other things like Sage, Xero, etc. have some kind of automation in them. Yes, they do, but it tends to be very rigid and what they imagine the organization will work. With Power Automate, you can control, you can create, sorry, that's the word I'm looking for, create your own workflow that suits the way your organization works and put it into Business Central. In addition, Business Central is just hugely customizable via extensions and apps available. This is lifted from the page on one of the Microsoft websites, and just gives a flavor of the kind of things that can be added. So payroll, warehouse enhancements, e-commerce, expense management, point of sale, credit card collections. You also got very good hooks into it, so you can do customer specific apps if you want to add on hooks into some custom design software that you guys have within your organization, and or fully automate it into the Business Central function. There are literally thousands of these apps available on the Microsoft website, so I think it makes it probably one of the biggest supported ones by third-party developers of all the ERP systems out there. Right, quick chat about licenses. Quite simple. There's two that are available. Right, there's Business Central Essentials and Business Central Premium. And I won't go through all the features that are included there, because well, there's no point in reading a list. I'll just send you guys to sleep. However, the major two differences on the last two lines, where service management is not included in Business Central Essentials, and the manufacturing element is not included in Business Central Essentials, whilst it is included in Central Premium. The beauty of a cloud-based system, obviously, is that you can start off with Central Essentials, and if you decide that you need service management or manufacturing at a later date, just contact your license provider, flick a switch, and those will just automatically appear in your environment, and you can get moving on with them. So I would suggest to anyone considering it, Business Central Essentials is probably the license to start with. Right, Josh, who's running this video, is now this webinar. Sorry, is now going to show the quick Microsoft video about Business Central.
As the leader of a small to medium-sized business, you wear a lot of hats: visionary, creator, motivator, and everything in between. You know your core business, your customers, and your competition. And you also know that to stay atop your industry, performing well today is just the beginning. You need to be ready for tomorrow too, for new products, new prototypes, new services, and new business models. And while you might be ready to take on what's next, can you say the same about your financial and operating systems? Because to make your business dreams a reality, you need business solutions that keep pace with a constantly changing world. That's why successful SMBs have moved to the cloud with Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central.
Now, more than ever, small and medium businesses need to embrace digitalization because business as we know it is changing. The expectations are changing. The customer experience is changing. And even where we work and how we work is changing right in front of our eyes. And yet so many businesses are still limited by systems that simply don't allow for change. That's why we launched our next evolution of Microsoft Dynamics 365 Nav, GP, and SL to enable businesses to be powered by the cloud, powered by data, and powered by business intelligence. We brought together the productivity of Microsoft Office 365, the data connectivity and business intelligence of the Microsoft Power Platform, and security, scale, and geographic presence of Microsoft Azure. Dynamics 365 Business Central unifies these assets into a single application. This enables teams to connect with their finance, sales, service, supply chain, manufacturing, and distribution data. This connectivity ultimately allows teams to adapt faster, work smarter, and perform better.
Move to the cloud with confidence to adopt new business models faster, with flexible deployment options and innovative solutions that grow alongside your business. Connect people, processes, and insights to make better decisions quicker, and optimize productivity with embedded guidance and interoperability with Office 365 and Teams. Increase financial visibility and performance to close your books faster, get reports sooner, and obtain real-time cash flow and performance metrics at any time, on any device. Today's marketplace isn't just competitive, it's constantly changing, with every day and every minute bringing something new. Be equipped for what's next and unlock limitless possibilities with Business Central.
Right. Okay. Well, I always like the MS videos. They sort of show some very good-looking people in fantastic work environments under no pressure whatsoever, having a great time thanks to MS. As we know, anyone that runs a small business or works within a small to medium enterprise knows that essentially life isn't like that. But it gives you an idea about what it can cover and stuff like that. Now I'm going to come on and hopefully I think all I have to do is share. I'm going to show you a demo on the basically the actual product itself. So if you bear with me a second, I'll just get this up. Right. Hopefully I'll be able to all see that now. It's wonderful, isn't it? They showed all those fantastic organizations. This is actually the Microsoft demo, and we'll put a link into it later. You can go in there and you can play around with it in real time yourself. However, for Microsoft, they've chosen an office supply company, which I think well, no offense to you office suppliers out there, but must be one of the most boring businesses going. They had all these fancy businesses in the video. You think you could have done some biotech or something fantastic like that. But anyway, the principles are all the same. You're running a business and you want to keep on running that business and controlling it. And so having a look through, the first screen you get up is this start screen in front of you. And it really contains a heck of a lot of data, far more data than you will find on actually any other ERP system, really. And it gives you the ability to be able to see what's happening without having to go through constantly refreshing pages or digging into pages. And it's role-based, so you can customize this dashboard to whoever within your organization is carrying out which other function. So if you like, you could focus this totally on sales if you wanted to give this to the salespeople, or focus on the purchasing if you wanted to give it to the purchasing people, or focus on accounts collection, etc. And so it depends on what roles you assign when you set up your users within the organization. So looking through the title shortcuts at the top here, finance, you've got what you'd expect here straight into, you want financial reporting, general journals, chart of accounts, your sales budgets, purchase budgets, and VAT returns, currency. The HR function is here in employees. So I'll just click on that quickly just to show you. So it comes up with your HR, and it gives you the ability, obviously, absences, pay employees, and etc. And if you go into, the beauty about Business Central is the drill down function. You don't have to sort of go looking for another report. You just drill into what you want and try and find it. And this tends to show, really quite a lot of details about the employee, gives the ability to add attachments there, which a lot of HR add-ons don't allow to do. So you can put in your contracts and stuff like that if you like with them. It's all kept in a secure cloud-based environment. And so, you know, if you want to put in confidential information, absences, contact picture qualifications, you want to, and then there's various more options you can have a look at, including the automation. So if you want to move them around and stuff like that. So that's a quick dig into the HR side. We'll come back to the things. Cash management, this obviously shows your bank accounts, direct debit, payment terms, bank deposits, whatever you want to get in there. If you add a module on that relates to cash management, so for instance, a credit card management system or something like that, that will integrate directly into here. So you don't need to go outside the environment to sort of mess around and play with those. Sales, obviously, this is your sales quotes, sales orders, reminders, sales returns, which a lot of people don't deal with very well within organizations. So you've got a very good return system within there. And then purchasing. I always think a lot of small businesses don't really, as they grow, don't do purchasing terribly well. This gives you a fairly good way of setting up a really good purchase system. So it gives you the ability to get purchase quotes, purchase orders, and then lead on to purchase invoices and create a proper workflow for your purchases. And that then will lead through straight away into your financial side if you want to sort of keep track of assets and stuff like that. So then this demo, for instance, for some reason has Shopify in there, which is the e-commerce side. However, other e-commerce applications are available and can be put into Business Central. So don't feel that just because you see Shopify there that you have to use Shopify as your e-commerce environment. You can use whatever you like. So going back to the main page here, you've got these tiles here, and as I said, everything's drillable. So if you want to quit on sales quotes, you've got your quotes up here. You can drill down here, have a look, and you see what you've been quoting for, who the customer picture is, payments and what they've got, shipping, etc. And customer card. Then if you want to have a look at what the quote is, you can see that, as I said, it's a bit dull, this one. It's office furniture, so you've been quoting for some Berlin guest chairs in yellow. Obviously their architect's getting very excited and he's chosen yellow. So it gives an idea. Those are all in there. Then sales orders, you can look in there. You've got all these orders in here. Status is open, so this has to do with your Power Automation, where it goes for. You can approve those sales invoices. These are all sitting there waiting to go, and you can see that is. So you can just click release if you want to the next stage of processing, if you want to get this invoice out, right? And so exit. Then obviously your purchase orders on the reverse side, what you're taking into your business, ongoing purchase invoices, and then your payments. You've got an unprocessed payment that you need to allocate, and you've got 13 outstanding invoices. Their quick KPI just shows you take 5.8 days to collect, which I think is incredibly short for a business company. That does amuse me, actually. If you look at the top here, they managed to sell 1,200 quid's worth of business, but they've got 40,000 quid owed to them, and they're supposed to collect it in 5.8 days. It doesn't look like a real business to me. You can obviously scan documents and you can email documents in. There is artificial intelligence within the program to recognize stuff on documents. And so, your My Income documents is stuff that you've got to deal with. So it's a first consultant's invoice. You have to decide what you want to do with that. Right. Then emailed status, approvals of you wanting to send. So this is all part of the automation process. And then self-service. So if you've got engineers or service personnel out there that want to submit timesheets and you want to approve them and send them on to the payroll side of things, you can do that. Shopify is basically your e-commerce side, and this will obviously just varies, but you've got, I think the really nice thing about this is this dashboard is the ability to see these tiles, see what's outstanding, see what's got to be done straight away, and drill right down and get into them. Right. We go down here, got insights, which I think is quite fun. And it basically shows your business performance. So you've got top customers by sales value. You've got your favorite GL accounts. So if you're keeping an eye on cash, which a lot of people are doing these days, you can have these showing here all the time without having to dig down. And then you've got a trial balance here. And if you want to keep an eye on your trial balance on what's happening within the organization. Having a business performance, you can change these obviously to next chart, which I'm not sure what we've got. Oh, there we go, cash cycle. So all these things are out of the box. They will start coming in straight away. And it gives you sort of a very easy way of reporting without having you to go, if you're reporting to your board or whatever, having to go off and start producing lots of different reports yourself. Then Power BI is down here, and we've done a webinar on Power BI before, which suggests you look up if you're unsure about what Power BI is, but it's the Microsoft's graphical way of presenting data, and has fantastic amount of artificial intelligence built into it. So it does a lot of the sort of shifting and lifting and shifting of the data for you and creates some really good looking data for you. And you can see basically expand the report if you want to have a look at a bit more, wait for it to come up. And then item sales. So this shows items sold by quantity. Again, not the most exciting business, and we're talking about selling chairs, but there you go, someone's got to do it. So, and then report inbox here, and there's nothing to show on this, which but what happens is that within reports, you can automate reports and they will end up in the inbox here. So for instance, if you want to say, I want to see the balance sheet at the year end, the month end on the 31st of each month, you can power automate that and just create a thing. So have a quick look at the trial balance now for the finance guys. So chart of accounts here. And so if you look at your chart of accounts, you go down here, you've got expenses, net income, assets, liabilities, and stuff like that. So there's your standard trial balance. It's incredibly easy to add a ledger item. If you just want to just click on one here, you can basically create a new one wherever you want to. So if you wanted to put a new general ledger in, so just put in your ledger in, give it a name. So 11256, let's do a weird number and name. Sort of just say that it's school sales or something like that. We're starting a school division or something like that. Income statement, etc. account category, assets, liabilities, direct debit, both, totaling, reconciliation. Do we need to? Yes, banking, posting, VAT production, consolidation, reporting, cost accounting. So, yeah, all of these can be uniquely identified, and it gives you far more flexibility than you would do in, say, a Sage or a Xero environment, really. And have a look now and see. Yeah, so the next thing I just want to cover here is just a quick overview of the Business Central is dimensions. So you can filter and dimensions, set ID, filter, right? And just talk about dimensions quickly. Unfortunately, this example doesn't have the best example of dimensions built in. However, you will often in Sage and Xero, you will have departmental reporting. So you've got the ability to put in a filter on a department and you can assign costs to that department and stuff like that. So, or you might be able to do it on a geographic region or stuff like that. However, to set these up, you're often creating separate GL accounts for these things, or you're limited basically as to how many you can have. I think with Sage you can have up to about 10 or something like that. And there's dimensions are essentially a hashtag, if you like, and you can set that hashtag to anything you want. So you can set it to a salesperson, you can set it to an office, you can set it to a region, you can set it to a product and whatever. And therefore, by using the dimensions to filter, if you were to say, well, I want to see how many yellow chairs we've sold in Kent this month and whether Mike has sold them, you can run this report and see through. So, dimensions are incredibly flexible way of using it in the future. And I think just have a quick look. Financial reporting. I suppose we'll just say that often when you're looking at these screenshots, you're saying, well, what's it going to look like at the end? So we'll just have a quick look and preview on this. There we go. So there you go. There's your standard reports, and you can pull these out, put them in, and the beauty is using the Power Automation tool. You can use this, and so you can just Power Automate, create a flow, and say that I want this report to be produced every month and shoved into my report inbox, and then away you go. You don't have to worry about doing the month end and running all these reports yourself. So that's a very, very fast look at a demo of what we've got, what it's all about, Business Central. We will put a link, or there is a link, sorry, I should say, at the end of this webinar to download this demonstration yourself. And as I say, it's a real-time demonstration. You can go in there and play with it yourself and try and set it up if you want and see what, get a feel for it. But I think what you'll enjoy is the fact that it's incredibly flexible. Right, now I'm going to stop sharing, I think. Maybe, I think. Right, and I think I'm now back onto the costs, if that's correct. Hopefully the content's gone back to the slide with the costs in. So let's just have, this is just really a comparison with Dynamics Business Central and Sage 50. It's really the headline is that it's much lower ongoing usage and support than, and so you're really, first of all, you get virtually everything out of the box, apart from the premium, which is the manufacturing and the order management. And that can be added very quickly onto it. And if you look at that and compare that with Sage Professionals, you've got to decide whether you go for Sage Standard, and which has got very limited capability, or Sage Professional, that allows you to manage different departments and budgets. As I said, with Dimensions, you can do that with a drop of a hat within Dynamics. In terms of the cost, you're essentially looking at a setup cost of £53 a month for your basis, and then for each team member that you need to add, it's an extra £6. With Sage, it's £125, and then you have to buy a 20-user block, which is £140 a month. So, straight away, I mean, if you're a small team and you want 5 or 6 licenses, you're looking about around about a cost of 85 quid or something, as opposed to Sage, you're going to be spending a minimum of 270 quid a month. So far, far cheaper. In terms of number of users, you're unlimited. With Sage, you're limited to 20 users. And so looking next, really, you can then look at the Sage features down here against the Dynamics features, and everything is there in Business Central. In Sage, you're fairly limited, really. For instance, there's no way that you can get the data analysis tools that we just demonstrated with the Power BI or the artificial intelligence. The Office integration is seamless. So if you've got 365 already, which hopefully the majority of you on today's webinar will have, it works in seamlessly. You have to pay an additional 10 quid a month with Sage. And then automation, Sage does, that's not strictly true. Sage does have some automation built into it, but it's what Sage thinks that you want as automation. Whilst with Dynamics, you go and create the automation yourself, and so therefore it's much more flexible into how you work as a business. And MTD compliant, so everyone needs to be MTD compliant, obviously. So I think this just demonstrates, really, if we come back to the 6th line down configuration, Dynamics Business Central is very configurable, i.e. it fits like a tailor-made suit around your organization, whilst you tend to find with Sage that you really have to alter the way your organization works to fit in with Sage, really. And I'm sure those of you out there using Xero will identify the same problems within Xero. So, hey, so there we go. That's it. I think I've talked long enough. It's over 40 minutes now. So we'll throw this open. There's a link there too if you want to go and see the video again, and also there's a link there if you want to download the demo and have a play with it. So please do. If you want to have a chat with anyone, just give our sales team a call or get in touch with me, and I'll happily have a chat about Business Central with you. Yeah,
that's fantastic. Thank you, Colin. Some really good insights. I've actually had a number of questions come in from our Q&A. Colin, Diane in Manchester asked, do we need to pay for implementation and setup, or is it something that we do ourselves?
Well, it's either or. So because it is quite configurable, very configurable, it's a matter of looking at it. You can, out of the box, you can set it up yourself. However, if you are migrating from another system to Dynamics, and you want a seamless migration, and you're also getting on with your day jobs, it may be worth your while paying someone else to do it for you. And so we have a number of partners that we can bring in to help people set it up as customization. It's obviously professional rates. You will be paying for these guys. They're professionals, so it will be quite expensive professional costs if you do get external people involved. You should be thinking around about £200 an hour or whatever for them to do it. So the only good thing is it's a one-off cost once you've got it up and running, and you get into Business Central yourself. It's hopefully I've demonstrated it's got a great deal of flexibility, and it's fairly easy to navigate around. There's a great deal of support yourself. So it's not sort of you're not sort of saying, oh dear, am I going to be paying this money out year in, year out? No, you're probably going to be paying an initial lump sum to get it set up. Once it's set up, then you can get on and manage it yourself.
Another one coming from Mike from Warrington. He asks, are there different levels of features at different prices, or do we just buy one thing and get everything?
Yeah, I mean, the best thing to do would be to flick back to the comparison between the essentials and the premium there. I don't know if you can do that, Josh. I think you've got control of the slides. Yeah. It's yeah. No, go a bit further back. There we go. So, the two types of licenses. The basic difference is service management and manufacturing are not included in the Central Essentials, whilst they're included in Business Central Premium. And yeah, if you're not a manufacturing organization, then it's dead easy to say, yeah, I don't need that, and I could just go for the Central Essentials. If you're unsure, go for the Central Essentials, and we can, flick of a switch, we can upgrade your licenses to set Business Central Premium, and those features will literally just show up on your dashboard. It's not a case of having to reinstall software or change everything or take the data and migrate it or anything like that. Those features will just appear on your desktop.
Fantastic. Two more questions. Just David's asked, do I still need a CRM system?
We strongly advise you to use a CRM system, yeah, because Microsoft Dynamics CRM, which I think is really an outward-facing thing, and I think my Dynamics CRM is essential for any company or wanting to be competitive in this sort of sales marketing environment that we live in this country. So I would say yes, you do.
And finally, Diane's asked another question. Is there an SLA? Because if our whole ERP is down, we're in trouble.
Yeah, definitely. You're covered by the Azure SLA, and I believe it's 99.9% uptime, and it will include some money back thing. I haven't got the figures to hand. If you want to search on Azure SLA on Google, and you'll be able to sort of find it there, and or email into myself, and or say email sales at Simply Mail Solutions, and we'll dig it out for you. But it's the Azure. It's run on the Azure Cloud Platform. Azure Cloud Platform is probably one of the largest in the world, or if not the largest. It's on a par with the AWS, Amazon Web Services, which is the other big cloud platform, and it's where Microsoft are focusing, a lot of their efforts in the business market. They recognize that cloud is the way to go, and therefore they are working hard. And one of the things that you're not going to get to be number one is if you have downtime. Otherwise, you'll just go off to Amazon Web Services or Google or someone like that. Yeah.
That seems to be all the questions. Thank you to everyone who's put a question in today. Huge thank you as well to Colin for today's webinar, and thank you to everyone for watching. If you are watching a little bit later on the YouTube channel, feel free to put any questions you have in the comment section below. We'll make sure to get those answered. And of course, check the links in the description box. That is all from us today, and we'll see you again on Wednesday, the 5th of April, by a webinar presented by me. I'll see you then. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.